Ashley Foltz here, making a mid-season debut for Season 2 of Tackle Primetime, powered by the National Collegiate Scouting Association. We're continuing to break down the Tackle top 200 football players in America by examining the nation's top linebackers. So once again, here are Coach Randy Taylor and Coach Bob Chmiel to break down the talent and discuss the 5 things every recruit needs to do. Coach and Coach, take it away.
Thanks, Ashley. One of the things about recruiting linebackers is they can have so many different skills that you have to evaluate. Each player has unique skills, Randy, as you know. You need to fit the linebacker to your defensive scheme. That's what's critically important.
A team running a 3-4 might have an entirely different view of a player than a program running a 4-3. But one thing is for sure, every coach covets a linebacker with the speed to go sideline to sideline and with the toughness to shed blocks to stop the run. So I want to start off our list with the top linebackers in the country with linebacker Manti Te'o from Punahou High School, Honolulu, Hawaii. I love watching this kid, Coach. His motor and obvious passion for the game add to his terrific ability. He goes sideline to sideline. He's instinctive. He's a very good tackler because he runs through the ball carriers.
He is a prototype linebacker, a prototype football player. Has a great motor. He has great ball skills, sideline to sideline guy. He tackles through people, as we just saw right there, as opposed to 2 people. And there's really a big difference. Here he is again in pursuit. And he is relentless. Number 2 on our list is Jelani Jenkins of Our Lady of Good Counsel High School in Wheaton, Maryland. All right, Randy, here's another really outstanding football player. Jelani Jenkins of Our Lady of Good Counsel in Maryland. Another guy that runs sideline to sideline. Again, great athleticism, great strength. He's a good-looking football player. Whoa, here we go. Caused the fumble. Great job.
He's a long-armed, athletic kid, comes off the edge very well, as you can see. He's a guy that could play inside or outside, I think, depending on the defense, but is definitely going to be a difference maker at the next level.
It's in a word, he's explosive. Watch him accelerate to the ball carrier. He accelerates. Just that little pop at the very end. He's catching a wide receiver here. Oh, my goodness.
Welcome back to Tackle Primetime. We want to give a holler at the rest of the top bone-crunching backers in America. We got Vontez Burfict. Vontez is 6'2", 245. He's another one of those guys that you love. He runs through ball carriers. He's active. He can go sideline to sideline, but you take him from tackle to tackle, and he's going to stuff the run every time. He's just going to keep getting better, Coach.
Well, we talk about great feet at any position. That last play there was very indicative of that. His feet never stopped. He made contact, kept his feet going, and consequently, as we say, the stack went back.
He's a guy that, like I said, can play really tackle to tackle. He could be an outside guy and play on that tight end and keep him out of his routes. Coach, we're watching Eric Fields from Northside School, Warner Robins, Georgia. This is a kid who can line up anywhere on the field and attack the football.
Correct, and assuming he's made a commitment, and where's it to?
Coach, he's going to go to Clemson right now, and they're lucky to get him with their changes in staff. This kid is going to be able to, again, come in and play right away. He's one of those guys that, as a freshman, he's mature enough physically and athletically that he'll be able to play early and make an impact. Coach, let's take a look at a future Buckeye, Dorian Bell, Gateway High School, Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Here's another kid that could play early and be another special linebacker for the Buckeyes.
Well, let's talk about Ohio State University, the Buckeyes. Coach Jim Tressel has created Linebacker U, Spielman, Hawk, Laurinaitis, now maybe Bell. You talk about some great linebackers and young guys that have learned from the older guys. I watched Laurinaitis and had him listen to him talk. He talks about learning from Hawk and the great things. This young guy is going to come in there, take his place as an Ohio State inside linebacker, and have a chance to really follow into that lineage because he has the same abilities that those guys did when they were coming out of high school.
Once again, we want to wrap up tonight's Tackle Primetime with some insider information for all the potential recruits out there. This week, we want to touch on one of the most discussed and perhaps overhyped aspects of recruiting, the walk-on, Coach.
You know, Randy, when I was at Notre Dame, my favorite guys were the walk-ons. Great young guys. But understand this, I shuddered every time I heard Rudy was on television because I knew the next day my office would be flooded with phone calls from players all over the country with totally unrealistic expectations. Hey, I met Rudy, Randy, and for the amount of punishment he took for 2 plays, I don't think that was that great a deal.
It initially sounds like a great idea, but in practice, it can be extremely difficult. There are no promises on scholarships or playing time or even getting a locker number under 100. There are various other restrictions as well, like the access to eat training table, for example.
Don't get me wrong, Randy, I loved my walk-ons, but in my 7 years at Notre Dame, I only saw 6 elevated to the scholarship level. Only around 10% of the walk-ons played any significant time during their career there.
Gets to the point where a lot of walk-ons end up quitting or walking into my office and asking for help transferring to a school where they can receive more playing time. It takes a special person to succeed as a walk-on, and I'm sure these kids would have been better off if they had considered more schools at different division levels from the start. However, they are most respected players on the team, especially by the coaches.
Remember, there's over 800 schools that play football and 1,700 schools that have athletic programs. And if you don't take time to check out all your options because you're planning on walking on, you have effectively cheated yourself from exploring all of your real options.
Which is why taking visits to schools can be so important. Gauge what a program has to offer you. Check in with us next episode so we can explore visits in a little more detail.
Great, guys. It was a pleasure debuting with you this episode. Check in next episode as Coach Chmiel and Coach Taylor break down more of the nation's top athletes and talk about what it takes to get recruited.